Hello, it is Dr. Chris Raquel, and I am back again with a video for today. I hope you all are doing amazingly. Please like, comment, and subscribe to my channel. You can also send me an email at askkrystalracquel@gmail.com if you have any questions that you would love to see me answer on a YouTube video. So the topic for today, I don't know if you all just saw what was posted regarding Wendy Williams on the Breakfast Club today. So I'm not someone who typically discusses things about news, but when something comes in the news that I think is really important, I do feel like I have to talk about it. So many of you may be aware that Wendy Williams is currently under a conservatorship, and last year I did want to talk about this just because I really felt it wasn't right. And there's a few different points that I want to make. Is one, if you're someone who has money, whether you're rich or even just working middle income type of person, really be careful and don't make your don't let all of your money be in one bank. That's kind of what happened with Wendy Williams. A specific bank ended up really having control over all of her money. I'm not gonna get into the ins and outs and the details, but you can look online and find out exactly what happened. But I would even encourage people to even have money set aside somewhere, even outside of the banks, but definitely don't put all your money in one bank, because you never know what could happen, especially if you have a lot of money that would make you very attractive to people who would try to manipulate you. But anyway, the reason why I'm on here is specific to the interview that Wendy Williams just did. A few months ago, they were saying that she was cognitively impaired or incapacitated, basically meaning she can't function and things of that nature. So she ended up calling into the Breakfast Club. The Breakfast Club is a radio show, and they post on YouTube as well. That includes Charlamagne the God, DJ Envy, and Jess the Mess, and Lauren is also there. The two young ladies are there. Even though Jess the Mess replaced Angela Yee, who was on there for several years, Lauren is also there. She does research for them. And she also covered for Jess the Mess when Jess the Mess was out for maternity leave. So basically, Wendy Williams called in. I was so excited to hear her, and it really shows you how important it is to protect your assets, protect your wealth. I really feel bad for her. I want you to go and listen to the interview that she did where she called into the Breakfast Club. Her and Charlamagne, they've known each other for, she said, over 20 years. And we haven't heard from Wendy in a while. So, but hearing her, you can tell she's not incapacitated. She can talk, she's coherent, and she's, I think, 60 or so. So, and obviously over the past 3 years, she's been in this conservatorship. So we don't know how that's affecting her emotionally. So she doesn't sound like the Wendy exactly that we saw on the Wendy Williams show, but you can tell it could just be a natural decline with, age. She's an older person, I should say. So, and then plus she's not waking up every morning doing the Wendy Williams show. Basically the way she described it is like she's pretty much trapped. She's in an apartment, but she can't do anything for herself. It's a conservatorship, so think Britney Spears. So basically someone controls her life. She mentioned how if she wants a specific brush, she has to go send someone for it. Then they might come back and bring a brush. It might not be what she wants. So it's like she doesn't have the independence that she deserves, that you and I deserve. So I really think it's a horrible thing that's going on. The woman's name is Sabrina Morrissey, and what they ended up saying is that she even donated to the judge after the judge put her in place over the conservatorship. So that tells me it's almost like some bribing is going on. And you have to think about this. Wendy has amassed so much wealth over these years. So it's not crazy that someone would try to stop her funds. So I can just go into a little bit about what happened with the bank several years ago. Is they saw certain transactions, so they tried to freeze her funds and in some way insinuate that she wasn't making these decisions, that she didn't have, that she wasn't able to, she didn't have the capacity to make these decisions that she was making with her finances, and people were using her and things of that nature. But you have to think to yourself, if that was a regular person, would they be doing that? She has so much fun, so much money, and I'm sure she's able to make decisions for herself. So it was obviously, from my perspective, someone at the bank clearly saw, or maybe they consistently do this with people who are wealthy and celebrities. They saw that, hey, this is our opportunity to jump. And who's benefiting now from her being in a conservatorship like Britney Spears? The medical doctors, Sabrina Morrissey, all these people are benefiting. So the purpose of my video is not to go into depth about the ins and outs of what's going on, but it's really to say it's wrong. I just wanted to give a little snippet. It has been bothering me for a while, since last year. I think a month ago we saw her at her son's graduation, which was nice to see her. She was in a wheelchair, but we all know she has, like, I think lymphedema or something that deals with her legs. And on the show today, she was even saying that, you know, they've been giving her all these pills. She doesn't even know what they're for. So, and I think Charlamagne encouraged her not to take them. And while she was doing the interview, she wasn't able to say too much, especially legally. But I mean, they have a GoFundMe. I'm going to put it down in the link, but really I'm going to even put the link to the video on the Breakfast Club. But what they're doing is completely wrong. I'm just telling you all, please be careful, because nowadays everybody's using banks and stuff, but there was a point in time where people held on to cash. People had cash hidden. And keep in mind, by having banks, that is a way for the government at any point in time to keep track of everything you do with your money. And when you think about it, we live our own lives, and honestly, no one should really, unless we're doing something illegal, no one should really have access to see everything that we're doing if they want to, right? There should be some protections in place to where, you know, things are private. And obviously, if you have your money in the bank, not saying you shouldn't. Most places for direct deposit when you're working, you use a bank. I'm not saying you shouldn't have a bank, but I'm just saying, don't trust that all your money is actually in a bank. Don't trust to put everything that you own in that bank, because as we see with Wendy Williams, this is like the start of it. This could happen to anybody, honestly. We don't know if this is just a start, right? First targeting people who are celebrities. And a lot of times when things happen, they are able to freeze your accounts. I think I saw recently a lady said that she was getting a divorce, and her husband, her ex-husband now, did something, and then while they were going through the divorce proceedings, he had her accounts frozen or something like that. So be careful. It's very important to don't put all your money in a bank. One bank, definitely not. Try to split it between at least 2 different banks. And honestly, have some money hidden somewhere. I'm not going to say in your house, anywhere. Have it hidden somewhere to where it's only you know where that money is, right? And nobody can see what's actually going on with that money. But we all need to pray for Wendy, because it's just unethical. Go ahead and hear her talk, right? She says that while she's talking, she's saying a lot like, oh, excuse me. She's saying a lot like, look, listen, something like that. She repeats those things a lot, but on the interview, there was a point in time she started crying. Imagine 3 years. You've been living your life independently for so many years. You've amassed all this wealth. And now for the past 3 years, you're basically controlled. And she's an older woman. She definitely deserves more than that. She deserves to maintain her dignity. So, of course, like the way she sounds fine, right? But there's a difference based on who she was on the Wendy show. But I think it's a normal difference. Imagine you 3 years now, after all these years you've been on your own, you've been a celebrity, you've been able to do what you want, you've been able to hire people to work for you. Now you are only able to do what someone is telling you can do. So that is gonna mess with you a little bit. And I think in reports recently, they were trying to say that she's like has an alcohol concern, to where now she has dementia that's been alcohol induced. And hey, okay, so let's see. It didn't seem like she's drinking a lot of alcohol based on how I heard her talking today. So let's pray for her. Samantha, or whatever her name is, Sabrina Morrissey, whatever you're doing is completely wrong. I even called her office today, and I'm gonna put the number down below if you want. I might take out the description later, but I called and I left a voice message. Sabrina Morrissey, if you're watching this, just know that people are onto you. And I'm not just saying you. And what I mentioned before was that obviously people are benefiting who have access to Wendy's money. Her money is being, I can tell, it's being redistributed other places. It's not being allocated in the correct way, because why would you need a conservatorship from someone you have absolutely no idea who they are when you have family members? How can somebody, you've amassed all this wealth, you've worked, and now somebody's going to control your money. I just think it's so unethical. And what I said in the voice message was, I let her know that people are onto you, and eventually there's going to be probably an investigation into what she's been doing with the money, how it's been benefiting her and other people. I said it was illegal, and I let her know it will be in her best interest to try to get out of this conservatorship that she has over Wendy, because eventually people are going to do some investigation legally, and she's probably going to end up in prison for what she's been doing. So I just wanted to come on here to say that what's going on with Wendy is absolutely wrong. I really think we should keep her in prayer, because what's going on is just not okay. Imagine if this was you. Imagine if it was one of your family members. Imagine if it was one of your older relatives, your own parent. And if you go on the website for Sabrina Morrissey, you're actually going to see that she says that she's there to protect the elderly who have mental concerns or are declining mentally. I'm going to put the exact quote down in my description, and you're going to see how ridiculous it is, because she's actually taking advantage. She's doing the opposite of what she says she's supposed to be doing. There's no reason for someone like that to be over Wendy Williams. Wendy Williams can decide who she would want to protect her cognitively. Why would a bank come in, and why would a judge appoint someone to be over her? Even with Britney Spears' case, it was her own father. So why would a non-family member be in charge? On the interview, her niece was on the call as well, and her niece, I'm sure she would be happy to be Wendy's guardian, although Wendy does not need a guardian, we can tell, but someone to assist her as she gets older. If she, for whatever reason, did have a mental decline, which I don't think she has right now, but let's say that she needed to have some safeguards in place because she has so much money. Her niece, I think, is a news anchor. She is able to help her, I'm sure. Her son, who's in his 20s, I think he's 24. Yes, he's young, but he could be put in place along with someone else. Her father is turning, I think, 94, turning 95. And he could be alongside with the son for now. This doesn't make sense. So I just think we really need to pay attention to things that are going on. I don't know Wendy personally, but we do know her from her talk show, and it's just really unfortunate what we're seeing happening to Wendy Williams. So I'm definitely going to keep her in prayer, and I think we should, I don't know what we can do to potentially shed some light on what's going on with this Sabrina Morrissey woman, but it really makes no sense. I'm going to actually do some investigating into like who she is and what's going on with that. Let me know what you think about what's happening with Wendy Williams. And people might be saying, well, she was doing all this guys, we're talking to people all these years. That's beside the point. I think it's something that we really have to pay attention to, because if a bank can come in with someone like Wendy Williams and pretty much start the process to eventually get a conservatorship put over Wendy, how much more can they do with a regular person? So really be careful. I think that's a cautionary tale here. Pay attention to what's happening with your money. Don't just think because everybody's using banks. I'm in my mid-30s, right? So I remember a point in time where it was more so cash. Keep your banks, but also be mindful. Anything can happen. So make sure you go down below and check the link to the Breakfast Club interview. Also check out Sabrina Morrissey's website. Hopefully this is shedding light on Wendy Williams' situation, and we can figure out a way to protest what is going on. And even if you can't do something specific to Wendy Williams, pay attention to your own life and your family and what's going on, whether they're older people. Make sure that you are staying around them, or that there's some family members that are around somebody if you have elderly relatives and family members, because there's people that are trying to take advantage of them, people that are scamming them. It is so, to me, clearly a scam for people to access Wendy's funds, because I think no one in her family even has access to her bank account. She doesn't either, so they can't even see what's going on with her money. I'm sure her accounts are dwindling down little by little, and unless there's a serious investigation into her accounts and all the transactions that have been taking place, I'm sure whatever transactions the bank initially saw that they claim were suspicious from people taking advantage of her, which caused them to move forward and try to push for a conservatorship and lock her accounts. I'm sure all the transactions that have been taking place that are outside of Wendy and her family, I'm sure we would really be taken aback if we saw what was happening. And there's going to have to be an investigation into all of those withdrawals, all of those moving around of funds, because I guarantee that her money has dwindled down. And it's not just going to doctors. It's not just going to Sabrina Morrissey. It's going to people who are you know, close to those people. There's a lot going on. When people see money, they try their best to get a hand on it, right? So her saying that she's cognitively impaired, or that she needs help, or that she's unable to make sound decisions, that's just their end to get a hand on her money and to use it in different ways. So I'm gonna pray for Wendy and pray for her as well, and let's figure out a way. I think there's a GoFundMe. I said let's figure out a way to shed light on this. And that's honestly why I made this video, because I just want to be one of the people who are, you know, pushing out this information and talking about it. I think the more we talk about it, the more people are going to have to really investigate and put a stop to this conservatorship. Remember what happened with Britney Spears? People were talking about it and disagreeing with what was occurring surrounding her. So yeah, go ahead and listen to the Breakfast Club interview. And yeah, let me know what you think down below. Have a wonderful and blessed day. Bye.